Hello and welcome to Creative Instruct. In today's episode, I decided to recreate one of the iconic logos, the Batman animated series. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it if you follow these cartoons as a kid. The idea of the exercise today is for us to practice working with shapes, operations with shapes, and paths inside Figma. Like that, you're gonna experience firsthand what we discussed in a previous lesson. Okay, as mentioned in the beginning, in the intro of the tutorial, this is what we try to achieve. And for that, okay, let's just create a new frame. I'm gonna select the frame tool up here, and I want this frame at 1200 by 800 pixels. I'm gonna work with the properties panel, set the width and height, make sure the fill, yeah, it's set to white. Now, this frame needs a grid, and I'm gonna apply a grid from the layout grid here on the right. I'm just gonna click the plus button, and I'm gonna go with the default grid, the one that Figma offers. These are the properties: size of 10 pixels, a square grid, and the color of red with the opacity of 10. Now the grid will help me better navigate my composition. I also want to set up some guidelines, yeah, some guidelines that will help me find the center of the composition. So make sure that you have the rulers on, the horizontal and vertical ruler. And for that, you can go under the Figma menu, view, and check that your rulers are marked. Okay. Now, having the rulers on, hover over the horizontal one, click and drag, and set your first guideline, horizontal guideline, in the middle of the frame that you created, yeah, at 400 pixels. On the vertical ruler, click and drag, and this one needs to be at 600 pixels. Okay, so make sure that those are set, and these will help us again identify the center of the composition. Let's give a name to the frame that we created. I'm gonna go here to the layers panel, double click, and enter the name that you want. And I'm gonna start by making the first figure, yeah, an ellipse. So go to the tools panel, choose ellipse, and click and drag. Now, if you want to follow along with the exact sizes, yeah, make sure that the first ellipse is set at 780 by 460. Okay. Also make sure that you align to the frame, yeah, the horizontal centers and the vertical centers, again from the properties panel. Yeah, we work a lot with this panel on the right, and let's give it a fill. I'm gonna give it a fill of blue for now to see it better against my red grid. So that's the body. Okay, I'm gonna move here to my layers panel and say body. This will be the main figure. Let's move on, and I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna start by recreating the lower part of the wings. Yeah, so I'm gonna take a new ellipse and click and drag, and this ellipse should be 260 by 160. Okay, and I'm gonna position it somewhere over the main shape. Let's give it a fill. The color doesn't matter, it's just a way for us to distinguish on what we work with. And by hovering over the bottom right corner, I'm gonna click, hold shift down, and rotate it, yeah, clockwise. So I want it to rotate at a minus 75 degree angle. And when you're at that angle, yeah, just hold shift and it will adjust. Make sure you position it in such a way that it comes and barely touches this vertical guideline over here. Okay, we're gonna want to create the tail of the bat. Let's create another ellipse, and I'm gonna take again the ellipse tool, click and drag, and this one I'm gonna make it 280 by 160. Okay, and again, give it another fill. Let's go with the red and same angle. Yeah, if you just want to fill in the angle, you can go here and hit -75, confirm by pressing enter. Okay, now the way I'm gonna position this one is such a way that it will overlap the initial ellipse and have maybe 6 squares, yeah, from the horizontal guideline, yeah, from the middle of the body. So make sure that it's such a way that it overlaps. And another important thing that you might want to know here is that they shouldn't align perfectly. Okay, so I will have the last ellipse maybe offset by 30 pixels. And if you feel the need to use more guidelines, just click and drag, and you should be able to better see on where you position those elements. Okay, the idea is that you don't need to be like in a hurry. You need to make sure that you get a nice shape at the end. Okay, I'm zooming out, and now I'm gonna shift and click and duplicate those. Yeah, Control C, Control V, click and drag them and hold shift because you want to mirror them. Yeah, you want the same thing to happen on the right side of the figure. Now right click and choose flip horizontal and zoom in. Make sure that they also align nicely and barely overlap, yeah, with the bottom of the figure. Okay, having all these set in place, click and drag on top of them and go up here and create a union selection. Okay, just like that. Now, if I would check my layers, I have those 4 ellipses in a union. Okay, shift and click the one that is the body, the main figure, and perform a subtract operation. Again, we're almost there, guys. Now half of the job is done. The bottom is ready. I would like to add another guideline, vertical guideline here for me to know or on where the wings uh, end. Same on the other side. Because now I'm gonna create the top part of the element by going again to ellipse, and this time I need an ellipse of 280 by 200. That should work, and an angle of 35 degrees, yeah, positive angle. Okay, make sure that this one again barely touches the left guideline over here. We want it aligned, and we want it a bit more down. We want this one to cut more into this wing. Duplicate this ellipse, Control C, Control V, move it to the right, and right click to flip it horizontal. Okay, let's select again both of them and create another union. Okay, now I want to combine the body, which now says subtract because that was the last operation I performed, and this union at the top. So I'm gonna select both of them and go to subtract. Okay, just like that, I do have a figure. Yeah, last thing that is left is to create a head, and we're gonna need to manipulate the anchor points. But if you try to double click, well, look what happens here. You're just accessing the shapes that created this figure, yeah, through subtract and union operations. What you want to do is bring all of them on the same layer, yeah, and you're going to do that by positioning yourself over subtract and making it active, right clicking and choosing flatten. Now if I would try to double click my figure, I see the anchor points. Yeah, those are the things which I want to work with because I want to create those pointy ears the bat has. Okay, so zoom in. Uh, After you double click this shape to get access to the points and choose the pen tool. Now, I do want to add a couple of extra points, yeah, and to drag them down together with the center point. So count maybe 2, 4, 6. So I would go with maybe, yeah, 6 squares on the left. Hit enter and let's try the same thing on the opposite side. And by picking the pen tool, yeah, the shortcut is P 3 and another 3. Now, if you accidentally confirm a point and you don't want it there anymore, again, you need to select the pen tool, press Alt, and you see that it's going to transform in a minus. Yeah, and you can just click and remove that point, try to add it again. Okay, having those in place, I'm going to zoom out a bit. I'm holding down Control and using the scroll wheel, and I'm gonna take the bend tool. Just want to make those points straight, these new anchor points which I added. Let's take the move tool, select these 3 top anchor points, again Control and using the scroll wheel, I'm gonna push them down. I'm gonna hold Shift, press the arrow key down once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and you should get something similar to this. Okay, now here's the catch. I'm gonna convert again the anchor points at the top to straight anchor points. Yeah, okay, click on that one with the bend tool and on the other one, and I'm gonna select again with the move tool the point in the middle down here, yeah, because I don't want the head to be that flat. After I select it, I press the up arrow key once, twice, 3 times. I would say that's fine. Enter to confirm and zoom out to see your figure. Okay, and this should be the end result. Of course, if you feel the need to continue working on the points, just zoom back in, double click, and adjust. Yeah, you can select them individually, hold shift and drag them if you want to make the ears a bit more pointy, like perfectly straight. Uh, so again, I'm not exactly after a perfectly straight figure. Yeah, or you can bring them in. Again, select it, press the right arrow key, 1, 2, 3, select it, left arrow key, 1, 2, 3, and there you have it. Okay, guys, it's like perfectly balanced. Let's change the fill. So make sure you have it selected, go to the right where it says fill and put it on black. Now we just need to create that yellow background. So let's take again the ellipse tool, make an ellipse of 820 by 500. I just increased by 40 pixels the width of height of the original ellipse, okay? And I'm gonna give it a feel of yellow. I want like a really nice yellow, strong yellow, and I'm gonna center it. And after performing a right click, I'm gonna tell it send to back, okay? This should be for behind our figure. Last touch is to add a stroke, make sure it's on the outside and set it to 20 pixels. Okay, feel free to remove the guidelines or hide the grid. I'm just gonna click and drag those back to the rulers that generated them to get rid of them. And there you have it. Okay, feel free to give it a try, even if you won't succeed on your first attempt. Practice and you're gonna get a hang of it. Hey, thank you for watching. Do leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.